In today's video, I am going to be breaking down different zone and man defenses that you can run with your middle school team. As a basketball coach of young players, I always recommend teaching man-to-man defenses first and then zone defenses after, because a lot of the concepts in man-to-man defense can be translated to zone. So let's get down and let's check these out. So you're probably expecting me to say, okay, the number one zone defense is a 2-3 zone. And I'm going to say, because everyone uses it, everyone has an offense to be able to play against it, so probably don't use it right away. In fact, if you want a killer defense, make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book down in the description below. But this is why I always like to tell people, and even myself, teach man-to-man defenses first, because these two players at the top of this zone are going to be really switching off and really talking a lot as if they are playing a man-to-man defense. So these bottom three players are going to be playing in a traditional zone. So player 3 is going to be guarding that area, player 5 is going to be guarding that area, and of course 4 is going to be guarding that area. Any of these areas where the zone overlaps, that is going to be a double team location. Obviously in a zone, what you're wanting and hoping to see is a lot of 3-point shots, because in a zone, you want to try and cut off the key and not allow any teams to be able to drive or pass into there, so that of course you have the advantage of getting the rebounds and forcing the lower percentage 3-point shot. This is a 1-1-3 zone, and I run it a bit differently than what most coaches may. So, for example, when the ball is up top, player 2 is going to be guarding the high post. His goal is, if they were to run a 4-out offense, then at that point, you would want player 2 front-facing player 4 so they cannot get that pass into player 4. If they were to pass over towards the wing, that would be player 2 going out to cover player 4, and player 1 would then sink down and cover the high post. If the ball gets swung back around, player 1 goes back up to guard, player 2 covers that free throw line. If they were to swing it, then of course this is the rotation that you would see. Player 2 would then cover the wing, and player 1 would then pop down just in case they try and do a pass and cut. Or if they were to try to run some kind of a 4-out offense, he would be the one who was front-facing that free throw line. If they are front-facing and player 2 passes to player 1 moves up, player 2 then front-faces once again. Now if this ball goes towards the wing, and then they pass over towards the corner, then we would have player 3 pop out and guard that single man, not going outside of the 3-point line. And player 4 would then go down, cover the low post. Player 5 would cover the low post. Player 2 is denying the pass, and player 1 in this case would be then of course guarding that high post. Player 4 may be able to go up a bit higher just in case of a cross-court pass, he can intercept it, but either way, this would be the rotation. If there was the ball into the low post, this would be a double team. Player 4 would then move down towards that low post, and player 1 would then move into the middle of the key. At this point, because player 1 is guarding this area, he is guarding that backdoor cut. Player 4 is guarding the backdoor cut on this side, and of course, the only real legit option most likely would be to kick it back out to player 3, in which case our defender should be able to recover out there quite quickly and not allow that 3 to happen. They have to be a quick defender. Now another zone that I actually like to mess around with once in a while is a 1-3 chaser. So player 2, once again, this is very similar to the last play, would be guarding the high post. Player 3, 5, and 4 would be guarding the same zones. However, player 1, this guy would be chasing the ball or chasing a specific player. In this case, in most cases, I would have him chasing the ball. So if player 1 was to pass to player 4, player 1 would then follow, and player 2 would be looking to cut off that pass or that high post. The ball goes down into the corner. That's when we would have player 1 chase, player 3 move out. This would be a trap. Player 4, 5, and 4 watch the high post, and player 2 watches up here, watching the cutoff, the skip pass, whatever. If this is a pass and cut, and they pass that ball back into that low post, once again, Player 2 will now be watching that high post and watching the backdoor cuts. 4 is watching the backdoor cuts, but now it's a double team in the low post with player 5 and 1. Basically, what you're hoping for with this defense is essentially single coverage out on the point and wings and a trap and double team wherever these players are on the court. So basically anywhere along the the baseline or the high post should be a double team. Now keep in mind if you're going up against an older team or maybe a more experienced team and they can pass that ball quickly around, this zone may not work very well for you. So interestingly enough, next one is a really janky defense. This one is what stopped Steph Curry for the Toronto Raptors, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the finals, and actually worked very well for me recently. You're going to be playing a triangle and 2, so you're going to be having these players guarding the key. We don't care about the three-point line at all. We don't care. I'm going to explain what happened in my most recent game. And let's say player 1 is the other team's best player and player 2 is the other team's best player, okay? These guys are man on. They are following those guys wherever they go on the court, just like man-to-man defense, but they will always be in deny. They will never allow themselves to be one pass away like in traditional man-to-man. They will always be in deny. These have to be the strongest, fastest players in the court so that they can be physical if they need to be, but they also have to be quick in case the other team is quick as well. Now, the thing with this zone defense or janky defense just recently worked extremely well for my junior team. Now, they did get tired. We still lost the game, but I'm okay. I am willing to say that I lose games as a coach, but they got tired, and at that point, the other 2 players on the other team were able to outmuscle us and basically be a lot faster than us. So that is what ultimately killed us in that game. But at one point, we were down 18 points, and we were able to bring it back within 3 to 5 points. Mainly because of this defense. So the other team, they only had really 2 really good players. The rest of the team were just there to pass those really good players the ball. They were really only there to take up space on the court so that they could actually go 5-on-5. And I'm not just being mean about this. They were actually legit just there to pass those 2 main players the ball, because whenever they got that ball, they were stuck. They didn't know what to do, and quite a few times they just traveled trying to figure out what to do with the ball. So because of that, we were able to take massive advantage of that, and we just protected the key. We cut off any driving lanes that they had, and they were unable to get their best guys the ball up until about the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, and that's when they started to basically get their bigger lead back from us. But anyways, this zone works extremely well. In the description, there is my book called The Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense. Basically, what it is a double team in the low post. It's a trap in the corners, and it's single coverage all up here. Now, the idea here is a lot of teams in their zone offenses will try to either feed the low post or kick it out to the corner for 3-point shots. And passing against this zone is a massive no-no. You will get destroyed, so make sure to check out the Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book down in the description below. I hope that this video has helped you. If it has, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again next time.